Mr. Lynch lives will be live forever. Messo simple. Messo simple. More simply. 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 Stay not idea. Lynch disease last week. Exactly last 7 days it should be before it means basically 9 years. Perhaps no. It was back in exactly in a week next Tuesday it will be initiated Mr. Lynch is birthday solo 4 quindi che mi fa sum of 5 plus 5 so 10 pratica del 0 ieri dove vedi il birthday yesterday not Lynch it's January 13 so read 13 days of January 36 so 2026 means Tuesday once again after 2 days after 2 days with the usual special day once again totally cloudy mas pratica i fatto dei nostri cloudy i cloudy scansi anche tutto si può estemazio e lì altri 13 49 minutes 57 finite 14 so really cool that can use political schedule si può interference so what's for your service for the effect to share the body as last 17 also effect very over come for your the regardless of the summer as some really follow me the rest of the summer in body also like it was also come for the vertical view now also for the unit of camera and the size 23 years ago artically on December 21 and to the size 16 in Italy or 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy as absolutely in my figure more in Chinese supposedly at Odyssey the event seems the same as associates in terms of some proposed effective version to Chinese but no but by the for me very useful materialization for the spring some new for the spring is really soft for the some just for the old one thing actually soft so that in general this is beautiful as you guys the this new something così anche da assolutamente right no this video not because obviously it's cold, it's winter, so generally not, but when I see the sentence absolutely incomplete, my feeling to me is referred to me, in particular perhaps really for this video, for the fact that I feel the cold, I don't feel cold, but I feel the cold less than other people, thanks to a series of practices, with 2 practices that I do follow since I'm used to which always try to find the cold, and when I come in the winter period, the quartz period, I always write with the comment on the section in which I can not have these 2 practices. So in case I write a root to add this in case in the first part first comment with an asterisk so I impact to totally so man is there see this part first comment with an asterisk I repeat I don't know for sure più non I think not factors feel cold if I think yes I don't spend time I think 95% feel cold however in general in some way for me always so good instead of what scatto sotto in general way I think I can say something just for the minutes better it seems I can be free I'm not feeling this one I think at temperature this is a bit just before 57 to Fahrenheit for 14 Celsius but l'importante thing is to see if you will se full di this essere sicuri sono sicuri in genere mi iniziato a mi adesso suppose perché non sono tanto da ripetere sky atmosfera sky fatto da ripetere mostly todden to consider in the last 2 weeks pratically according to read consider my sensations and other things according considering what I read considering my sensations and other things I think it's practically I think it's sure that later most sure that later might became late after was late after might became darker bigger and also that might think for transformance on it I think quite close we see let's see what happens Hatta så är det nog inte en så vidare så man så ser det så kan man skriva det riktigt. Bad maxima tassa lite con bad well rapsus contro quelle bad azioni come bad well so si riesce un piccolo quindi un corto cortivo in frase mix in plan si un cortino senza la stomma magari abbiamo solo barf di terra in particolare si che se da previous cortino beautiful grey cortino with beautiful pentagrammi c'è stata in per le passage from previous cortino factory you know so the things related limited what are you doing in the comment section so in case and this should be the third point first comment fourth comment where one of them is you read the comment section I don't know if you can read see or not as it will in certainly I'll be me I think of yes see the green flowers longer flowers mix it in the plants oh if not even better surely better mi sarà scelto praticamente the first part of the video which Perugia showed you the weather scatter stranger from this window it is classical window because there is also drops on the other medical room with the other medical window. Ora, for a broader perspective, also for this other practice, a shot similar to the classical shot, a film more than 30 seconds for the best previous curtain, usual curtain repeat with usual printed mini benches, perhaps also for the first curtain color curtain, and yes, the first curtain also with reports, when in front of exactly this, surely the color curtain is still in the cover image, so maybe time one day I shouldn't cheat to and this is shot, so it is effective buff when there isn't the green roller shooter, and also when there is, but more when there is, because effects measure, see del test picture sentence, so see is usually for the first for the previous curtain, before the curtain repeat, the benches, see is for first curtain, curtain, see is remember exactly this, and also see is also read it for the new curtain, sorry, but repeat special. Also used for first time, so and this little speech sentence it is, but also and always better visible for me its entity. Here in this shot, si può antisemitico la genre shot. As regard the regular shooter activism, but for optimism is the first days of last October, but this is important too because it's also the optimism. And now I also had say the elite special sentence for the continuous for it, it's valid also for it, so I repeat once again, but also and always better visible for me its entity in this shot, this is immediate or general shot. And finally, from a medical keeper and GX640, PG 625 also indicates the pure generation. Questi mondo people follow channel parts of the indicator. So number messages. So myself, I was and finally, I hope you will have a great breakfast. Today it's really late in general, so as I'm living since for the first time since last December 31, not at all for me. In fact, in general, it's late. Also for the record, it's late, but not at all for me because it's also kind of normal to me. Make breakfast at this hours in this video, but at the same time it's also late. But the whole important is that it's very fun to record some managers to start in fact breakfast. Finten the same yet. Start to eat finten, but started drinking milk at Finten in part met it was yes, so think record this record is managed to so stretchable. Very bit really close to the record. Really to some else, but si not perhaps in fact better see not and then yes. Yes, no, si they're just rolling, obviously just in quarter 13 and 49 minutes. But the important thing is to show the sentence. I mean, also they first time so I'm really angry. And as we all let's see, breakfast and most beautiful fast food. Absolutely. المص وين بات also more than 1 year. I know. Also considering the fact of X from a reason Friday. Mass fact crash more than 3 weeks ago. And it was the 50 reason, the story with the reports, and the beautiful reason, red and black and also white. That's different in comparison with the previous. All things that represent enough the following on Friday with the report. Yes, this should be done period. And I promise you, but I promise you to wait 1 day or 1 time, so many times better see it turn still see to the things or me yes ecco questi speech for esempio ciò bisogna se giochi su altri come battomassoni ma sembra nessuno for esempio bisogna fare una fifty fact tra me beautiful combo sul beautiful biscuits and see if I think it's one best if not best in realtà per chocolate chip cookies or no cookies chip chocolate chips infatti mi seguo questo fatto biscuits Mr. Lynch but in particolare, I think that was red and easy one, but milk fact some shots on the coffee music. Those are shocking for person does just shot fragment either so short length as I think some months as to see also which be some peers on attention but you better for some scripts to finish it now there's one series brought it once I think as 180 81 82 this is yes I lo sconosci e sono attention che best better the basic yes and since that month the pattern insert it once again in milk so very good news, quindi se questo effetto di breakfast, questa buona sa spina particolare, ma if see the last video to joke with what I talk about Mossonia, so of course many famous restaurants of that period. If it's also considered toll, Nicolas breakfast, was a mega bomb. Se what because about CS and if you see the corner that I see, yes, mi sa siamo preso position. Perhaps so che seguo with the Palma, but in general, non so se siamo preso position. Because attraverso questa posizione formidare la PAM, Italian PAM, Dark Chocolate Chip Series, always I draw come name to do, and magari things avete nemmeno to do, because they are really super bad. Adesso, tomorrow is supposed to fare tomorrow to 11. Odyssey. Perché non